In the days before click tracks, music had tempo changes. However, with good musicians, these weren't random. After analyzing dozens of songs, many, actually most of them, would speed up slightly toward the end of a chorus or verse or during a solo and then drop back down again. For example, many people feel James Brown had one of the tightest rhythm sections ever, which is true, but not because they were a metronome. There were premeditated, conscious tempo changes throughout the song, like speeding up during the run-up to the phrase, "Papa's got a brand new bag" in the song of the same name, then dropping back down again, only to speed up to the next climax. Furthermore, the entire song sped up linearly over the course of the song. Note that you didn't hear these kinds of changes as something obvious, you felt them. They added to the tension and release inherent in any music, which is a key element, along with dynamics, in eliciting an emotional response from listeners. When musicians played together in a room, it was easy to have natural tempo changes. These days, it's difficult for solo artists to plan out in advance when changes are going to happen. Also, if you use effects with tempo sync, not all of them follow tempo changes elegantly, and some can't follow tempo changes at all. Let's face it, it's a lot easier to record to a click track and have a constant tempo. However, there's an easy workaround. Add tempo changes to a finished mix, so you can complete your song and then add subtle tempo changes where appropriate. This also lets you compare a version without tempo changes and one with tempo changes. You may not hear a difference, but you'll feel it. Several DAWs can add tempo changes after the fact. With Studio One, for the highest possible fidelity, choose Options, Advanced, Audio, and check Use Cache for time-stretched audio files. Next, open a new song and bring in the mixed file. You need to embed a tempo, otherwise it's not possible to change the tempo, so open the inspector and enter a tempo under File Tempo. It doesn't have to match the original song tempo because we're making relative, not absolute changes. Also choose Time Stretch for tempo and Sound, Elastique Pro Formant, for the time stretch mode. Now let's modify the tempo track. Working with the tempo track is just like working with automation. Click and drag to create ramps and bend straight lines into curves if desired. You can set high and low tempo limits within the tempo track. The minimum difference between high and low tempo track values is 20 BPM. However, you can change the tempo track height to increase the resolution. The bottom line is that it's possible to create very detailed tempo changes quickly and easily. Here are two screenshots of tempo changes in songs. The first is a hard rock cover version of Walking on the Moon. The differences are fairly significant, starting with a low of 135 BPM, going up to 141 BPM, and dropping down as low as 134 BPM. Here's another example, a slower song called My Butterfly. It covers an even greater relative range because it goes from a low of 90 to a high of 96 BPM. Note that when possible, I maintain a constant tempo at the beginning and end. It doesn't matter so much with songs, but with dance mixes I can add tempo changes in the track as long as there's a constant tempo on the intro and outro so DJs don't go crazy when they're trying to do beat matching. As to whether it's worth making these kinds of changes, all I know is that the songs I do with tempo changes get a better response than songs without tempo changes. Maybe it's coincidence, but I don't think so. If you want to hear a collection of songs where every one has tempo changes applied, go to youtube.com/TheCraigAnderton and listen to The Singles album.
My lucky numbers 13 and 11. Looks like you were right because I'm floating on hell.